Today, welcome to our intensive review in our subject, which is the basic calculus. Ngayon, we will talk about the limit of a function. So, ito na tatandaan natin, para makuha yung limit of a function as x approaches to your c constant, we will use the direct substitution. Ito palagi yung pinaka-place safe na gagamitin. Let's say, for example, number 1. The limit of 3x minus 1 as x approaches to 1/3 is also the same as yung una natin gagawin, lahat ng x magiging 1/3. So, papalitan lang natin. Copy yung 3, yung x magiging 1/3, copy yung minus 1. Then, we will simplify. 3 times 1 is 3, and then over 3, that is minus 1. Simplify further. 3 divided by 3 is equal to 1. Copy yung minus 1. And 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. Hence, the limit of this function as x approaches to 1/3 is equal to 0. How about example number 2? Ganun pa rin yung step. Lahat ng x magiging 3 naman siya because our x approaches to positive 3. So yung function natin magiging 3 squared plus 2 times 3 minus 1. And then follow the Jamdas rule. Meron tayo ditong exponent. 3 squared is equal to 9. 2 times 3 is equal to 6 copy 1. So, addition tayo, followed by subtraction. 9 plus 6 is 15, minus 1, that is 14. Hence, the limit of the function is equal to 14. How about number 3? So, ganun pa rin yung process. If in any cases na magkakamap tayo ng indeterminate, so we will use another method aside from direct substitution, and that is factoring method. Kung hindi kaya ni direct substitution at yung maging sagot is 0 divided by 0 or that is indeterminate, we will proceed to factoring method or rationalization. Okay, so either of the two ang gagamitin natin kung hindi kaya ni direct substitution. Let's say for example, in number 3, limit of this function as x approaches to 4. Kunin natin yung limit gamit yung direct substitution muna. So lahat ng x magiging 4. The function becomes 4 squared minus 2 times 4 minus 8 over 4 minus 4. And then simplify. 4 squared is 16. Negative 2 times 4, that is negative 8 minus 8. So 4 minus 4 is equal to 0. We have negative 8 and minus 8, that is negative 16 plus 16 results to 0 over 0. So dito, nakakamap tayo ng indeterminate form of a number. So ibig sabihin, merong limit but hindi kayang isolve ni direct substitution. Proceed tayo sa factoring method. Yung gagawin natin dito, if-factor out muna natin yung functions natin. Okay? So the functions become limit of as x approaches to 4. So factor natin, what are factors of x squared minus 2x minus 8? That is x minus 4 times x plus 2. So, ito yung factors ng ating x squared minus 2x minus 8. Over, copy naman yung nasa baba. Then, we will proceed to cancellation. So, meron bang cancellations na magaganap? Meron. Yung common term na makikita sa numerator and denominator, yun yung magka-cancel out. So, ano yung term? That is x minus 4 and the x minus 4. So, yung maiiwan natin is the x plus 2 as x approaches 4. So instead of using this function, pwede natin gamitin yung x plus 2. Pareho lang yung functions na to by factoring method. Then dito na papasok yung substitution. Lahat ng x magiging 4. The function becomes 4 plus 2 or that is 6. And this is the final answer for number 3. The limit is equal to 6. Let's proceed to number 4. So, ito naman, if the answer is undefined, ibig sabihin meron siyang two different limits. Iba yung right limit and iba naman yung nasa left-hand limits. Ito naman yung pag-uusapan natin next topic, okay? Which is about infinite limits and limits at infinity. So, yung sagot dito by direct substitution is equal to undefined because by substitution, we will get 1 over 1 minus 1 or that is equal to 1 over 0 or that is undefined. Okay? So limit it does not exist in this case. So number 4, limit does not exist. How about number 5? So ito, radical sign. So check natin kung kayang gamitin ng direct substitution. So lahat ng x na nasa radical signs, okay, ito, na nakapaloob sa radical signs, magiging 5. So the function becomes 5 minus 3 times 5 plus 2 by direct substitution. So dito hindi na tayo gagamit ng rationalization. Kung by direct substitution, kaya naman siyang isolve. Simplify further. 5 minus 3 is equal to 2. Then 5 plus 2 is equal to 7. Then 2 times 7 is equal to 14. And this is the final answer for item number 5. The limit of this function as x approaches 5 is equal to square root of 14. Ulitin na natin, nagagamit lamang tayo ng factoring method and rationalization if by direct substitution the result becomes indeterminate, or that is 0 divided by 0. That is the limit of a function. Okay? So dako naman tayo sa medyo hindi naman ganun ka-complicated, pero medyo challenging din. Let's say for example, number 6. Suppose the limit of the function is equal to 4 as x approaches 3, and the limit of g of x as x approaches 3 is equal to 1/2. What is the limit of f of x over g of x as x approaches 3 naman? So anong gagawin natin dito? So yung gagawin natin is, we will use the ito muna. We will use the quotient rule, okay? One of the limit laws. So this limit becomes the limit of f of x as x approaches 3 divide by the limit of g of x as x approaches 3. So again, applying the quotient rule ng limit laws natin, this function is also the same as this. Okay? And then, ano next natin gagawin? We will look for the values of the numerator. So yung numerator natin is the limit of f of x as x approaches 3. Based on the given, nakasaad dito na the limit of f of x as x approaches 3 is equal to what? Is equal to 4. So ibig sabihin yung value ng numerator natin becomes positive 4. Divide by the limit of g of x as x approaches 3, that is equal to 1/2. Then we will simply further whole number divided by a fraction. Anong gagawin? So the rule here is copy the numerator. We will proceed to multiplication, but we will take the reciprocal of your denominator. So ano yung reciprocal ng 1/2? That is 2 over 1. Then we will multiply. What is 4 times 2 over 1? That is 8 over 1, or simply 8. Hence, the limit of f of x over g of x as x approaches 3 is equal to 8. So yung gagawin natin dito, the given is that the limit of the product of two functions as x approaches 0 is equal to square root of 35. So yung gagawin natin dito, applying the product rule of limit po, the function, so this one, the limit of this function as x approaches 0 is also the same as the limit of f of x as x approaches 0 times the limit of g of x as x approaches 0. So ito yung gagamitin natin para mahanap natin yung value ng g of x. Ito, the limit of g of x as x approaches 0. Since given na yung limit nito, which is equal to square root of 35, and the limit of this, which is equal to square root of 5. So dito natin ilalagay, substitute. The value of this based on the given is equal to square root of 35. Okay, equals, is equal to, yung limit of f of x naman as x approaches 0 is equal to square root of 5. Then multiply by the limit of g of x as x approaches 0. Kasi ito yung hinahanap natin. Anong gagawin natin next? We will apply what? We will divide both sides by square root of 5. To eliminate square root of 5, para maiwan na lang yung limit of g of x as x approaches 0. So the functions become square root of 35 divided by the square root of 5, and that is the answer for the limit of g of x as x approaches to 0. Pwede natin itong isimplify. 35 divided by 5, that is equal to 7. Okay, therefore the limit of g of x is equal to square root of 7. So the final answer is square root of 7. This is the value of the limit of g of x as x approaches 0. Last example. Suppose we have another limit f of x as x approaches 1 is equal to 7, and the limit of another function as x approaches 1 is equal to negative 5. What is the limit of f of x times g of x over f of x minus g of x as x minus 1? So yung gagawin natin dito, we will apply the limit loss to expand this limit. So yung mangyayari, magiging limit of f of x times the g of x over f of x minus g of x as x approaches 1, which is also the same as what? This is also the same as, okay, maglagay tayo ng papel dito. Ayan, another scratches. Okay. So here, pwede nating expand yung limit na to. And the limit becomes what? That is equal to the limit of f of x as x approaches 1 multiply by the limit of g of x as x approaches 1 over the limit of another f of x as x approaches 1 minus the limit of g of x as x approaches 1. So ito na po yung expanded form of this limit. Then, tingnan natin yung mga givens, isa-substitute natin. So lahat ng limit of f of x as x approaches 1 becomes 7. So ibig sabihin, the value of this is equal to 7 times, what is the value of limit of g of x? We have here negative 5. So we will multiply 7 by negative 5 over the limit of f of x again is equal to 7 minus the limit of g of x, which is negative 5. So ito na yung magiging sagot natin. Then we will simplify 7 times negative 5 is equal to negative 35. We have 7 minus negative 5. So these two negatives will become 1 positive. So 7 minus negative 7 is also the same as 7 plus 5. And 7 plus 5 is equal to 12. So pwede na tayong, ito na yung final answer. Okay? Or, you can change this into mixed number, which is equal to 2 times what? 2, negative 2, and 11 twelfths. So either negative 35 over 12 or negative 2 and 11 twelfths yung final answer for this item. So that's all for today for the limit of a function. See you on our next video, which is the left hand and right hand limit. See you.